You are standing in the hallway of your own home. It is 2 a.m. The house is deadly silent, but your ears are ringing like a grenade just went off. She is sitting on the edge of the bed, her face buried in her hands, her shoulders shaking. She just confessed, or maybe you just caught her. It happened one time. You want to believe her. God, you want to believe her more than you want to breathe. You want to believe that the woman you built a life with, the woman you trusted with your secrets, your money, and your heart, just had a moment of weakness. You want to believe it was a slip-up, an accident, a one-time thing that you can forgive and forget. But there is a cold knot in your stomach that is tightening. It is telling you that adults don't just accidentally fall onto another man. It is telling you that mistake is the wrong word for a series of decisions that destroyed your life. Brothers, that knot in your stomach is the truth trying to break through the lies she is feeding you. Most men ignore that feeling. They swallow the one-time mistake lie because the alternative, that she is a serial cheater who has been lying to you for months or years, is too painful to face. But if you do not learn the difference between a slip-up and a strategy right now, you are going to spend the next 10 years being played by a woman who views your forgiveness as permission. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. We need to have a very dark, very honest conversation about what mistake actually means in the female dictionary versus the male dictionary. Society tells you to forgive. Your friends might tell you to work it out. The therapist will tell you that affairs are a symptom of a broken marriage. But I am going to tell you the harsh reality that nobody else will. There is a massive difference between a woman who made a terrible choice once and a woman who has built a lifestyle around deception. And if you cannot spot the difference, you are not a husband, you are a host for a parasite. The one-time mistake narrative is the most dangerous lie in modern dating. Why? Because it weaponizes your mercy against you. It uses your good nature, your loyalty, and your desire to be a good man to trap you in a cycle of abuse. We are going to break down the anatomy of a serial cheater. We are going to look at the signs she is hiding a history, not just a moment. And I am going to tell you the stories of men who got this wrong and the one man who got it right. Let me tell you about a man named Daniel. This is the story of the loser. The man who wanted to believe the best so badly that he ignored the reality staring him in the face. Daniel was a hard-working guy. He was a provider. He loved his wife, Michelle. They had been married 5 years. One night, Michelle came home from a girls' night crying. She told Daniel she had kissed a guy at the bar. She said she was drunk. She said she felt terrible. She said it was a one-time mistake and she would never do it again. Daniel was hurt. He was crushed. But he saw her tears and he thought, she is honest. She told me. She regrets it. He forgave her. He hugged her. He told her they would get through it. He thought he was being a strong, stoic husband. He thought he was saving his marriage. What Daniel didn't know, what he refused to look for, was the pattern. That kiss wasn't a kiss. It was a full-blown affair that had been going on for 6 months. The only reason she confessed to the kiss was because she was terrified a friend was going to tell him. She gave him a partial confession to clear her conscience and stop him from digging deeper. This is called trickle truth. She admits to the lesser crime to hide the felony. For the next 2 years, Daniel lived in a false reality. He thought they were healing. Meanwhile, Michelle lost respect for him. Why? Because he accepted her betrayal too easily. She saw his forgiveness not as love, but as weakness. She realized she could cross the line, cry a little, and he would still be there paying the bills. So she did it again and again. She became a serial cheater because she learned there were no consequences. 2 years later, Daniel found her second phone. It was full of apps, dating apps, messaging apps, photos he was never meant to see. The one-time mistake was actually a lifestyle. Daniel lost his marriage, half his assets, and 7 years of his life because he didn't understand that a woman who respects you doesn't make mistakes with other men. He lost because he projected his own honor onto a woman who had none. You have to understand the psychology of the mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. A mistake is turning left instead of right. Sleeping with another man requires hundreds of decisions. It requires downloading an app. It requires flirting. It requires hiding the phone. It requires driving to a location. It requires taking off clothes. That is not a mistake. That is a campaign. That is a mission. When a woman tells you it was a mistake, she is trying to minimize the premeditation. She is trying to make you think it was an accident so you don't look at her character. Because if you looked at her character, you would see someone capable of sustained deception, and that is a person you cannot stay with. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. Now, let's talk about the delusional cheater. This is the woman who convinces herself that her serial cheating is actually your fault. Let's talk about Amanda. Amanda was married to a good man named Chris. Chris worked hard. He wasn't the most exciting guy, but he was loyal. Amanda started an affair with a coworker, then another with a guy from the gym, then another. When Chris finally caught her, Amanda didn't apologize. She didn't say it was a mistake. She got angry. She used a tactic called DARVO, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. She told Chris, "I wouldn't have done this if you paid more attention to me. You work all the time. You are emotionally unavailable. I was dying inside." See what she did? She took her serial betrayal and turned it into a story of her survival. In her mind, she wasn't a cheater. She was a victim seeking comfort. She convinced herself that Chris forced her to cheat by not being the perfect husband. This delusion allows the serial cheater to sleep at night. She rewrites history. She paints you as the villain so she doesn't have to look in the mirror and see a traitor. Chris, being a nice guy, internalized this. He thought, maybe I am to blame. Maybe I did neglect her. He spent a year trying to win her back while she continued to text other men behind his back. He was trying to fill a bucket that had a hole in the bottom. You cannot satisfy a woman who requires external validation from strangers to feel alive. Her need for attention is a black hole. It will consume everything you have and still be empty. The difference between a one-time event and serial cheating often comes down to the setup. A serial cheater sets up her life to facilitate cheating. She has male friends she keeps as backups. She guards her phone like it contains nuclear codes. She has gaps in her time she can't account for. She constantly accuses you of cheating because she is projecting her own behavior onto you. A one-time mistake, if such a thing truly exists, is usually followed by immediate crushing guilt. The woman confesses without being caught. She is sick with herself. She cuts off the other man instantly. She gives you all her passwords without you asking. She does the work. But the serial cheater? She only regrets getting caught. Her tears aren't for you, they are for herself. They are for the lifestyle she is about to lose. Now, I want to tell you about a winner, a man named Jason. Jason understood the game. He understood that actions speak louder than tears. Jason was dating a woman named Sarah for 3 years. He thought she was the one. One weekend, she went on a trip with her girlfriends. Jason had a bad feeling. His gut was screaming. When she came back, she was different, distant, cold, then overly affectionate. Jason didn't ignore the signs. He checked the phone bill. He saw a number he didn't know, texting her at 2 a.m. every night for the last month. He didn't confront her immediately. He waited. He watched. He found out that the girls' trip included guys. He found out she had been seeing this guy for weeks before the trip. When he sat her down, she tried the "it was a mistake" line. She cried. She said, "It just happened one night. We had too much to drink." Jason didn't buy it. He knew about the texts leading up to it. He knew about the planning. He looked at her and said, "A mistake is spilling coffee. Planning a trip with another man is a choice. Texting him for weeks is a choice. Lying to my face every day for a month is a choice. You didn't make a mistake, Sarah. You made 1,000 choices to betray me." He didn't yell. He didn't bargain. He didn't ask her to change. He ended it right there. He packed her bags. He understood that character is destiny. A woman who can lie to you for a month is capable of lying to you for a lifetime. He realized that the mistake was just the tip of the iceberg. Sarah begged. She promised to change. She used all the emotional manipulation tactics. "I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll delete social media." Jason stood firm. He knew that you cannot negotiate with a terrorist and you cannot build a life with a liar. He walked away. 6 months later, he found out Sarah was already cheating on the next guy she dated. Jason saved himself years of misery because he knew the difference between a slip-up and a character flaw. He knew that serial cheating is a mindset, not an accident. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. How do you spot the serial cheater before she destroys you? You look for the micro-cheating behaviors that she claims are innocent. Does she need constant male attention? Does she post thirst traps on Instagram while in a relationship with you? Does she have a best friend who is a guy that she tells you not to worry about? Does she hide her screen when you walk in the room? Does she get defensive when you ask simple questions about her day? These are not quirks. These are symptoms of a woman who is keeping her options open. These are signs of a woman who does not value loyalty. Serial cheaters are often monkey branchers. They never leave one relationship until they have a firm grip on the next one. They use you as a safety net while they audition your replacement. When you catch a serial cheater, notice her reaction. Does she take full responsibility, or does she blame the alcohol, the stress, the other guy, or you? Serial cheaters avoid accountability like it is poison. She will twist reality until you feel like the crazy one for being upset. She will say, "You're insecure," or "You're controlling," just for asking why she didn't come home last night. The harsh truth is that most men are too afraid to leave. They are afraid of being alone. They are afraid of losing the investment of the relationship. So they accept the mistake lie because it is easier than facing the reality that they fell in love with a fraud. But staying with a serial cheater is like staying in a burning house because you like the wallpaper. You are going to get burned. You need to understand that trust is like a mirror. Once it is shattered, you can glue it back together, but you will always see the cracks. Every time she comes home late, you will wonder. Every time she smiles at her phone, your stomach will drop. That is not a marriage. That is a prison sentence, and you are the warden of your own misery. Be like Jason. Have standards. Have boundaries. Understand that loyalty is not a bonus. It is the minimum requirement for entry into your life. If she fails that requirement, she is disqualified. Period. No appeals, no retrials. When you walk away from a serial cheater, you are not losing a partner. You are losing a liability. You are losing a source of stress, danger, and potential disease. You are gaining your freedom. You are gaining your self-respect. The one-time mistake is a myth used to keep good men in bad relationships. Do not fall for it. Look at the patterns. Look at the preparation. Look at the lies required to maintain the secret. That's where the truth lives. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest in the comments. Have you ever forgiven a one-time mistake only to find out later it was a pattern of serial cheating? What was the red flag you ignored?
Drop your story in the comments below. Let's help each other see the signs. I'll be reading the replies. Stay strong, brothers.